Today we're going to be going over SharePoint, which is a major piece of the Microsoft 365 platform. SharePoint's a powerhouse within your organization. And this powerhouse puts collaboration, sharing, and unification at its forefront. It presents the opportunity to flex your creativity, your ingenuity, and your drive to create indispensable tools for your teams, where your ideas can run wild. Safe document storage, collaborative systems, and automation are just a few aspects of this platform. Being part of a fully integrated system like this also allows you to take advantage of the other apps available to you with Microsoft 365, which exponentially increases the value of each tool that you build. So to start, we're just going to go through kind of the out-of-the-box look of SharePoint, kind of how it functions, just so you get an idea of what that might look like the moment you get it. So we're going to go ahead and pull that up right now. So here you just pop open your browser. It could be Microsoft Edge like this. It could be Chrome, Firefox, Safari, whatever you're working with, right? So while you're in the browser, if you're signed in within Microsoft 365 already, so Microsoft Edge, which is what I currently use, used to be pretty terrible. They've since renovated that years ago with the Chromium-based thing, which doesn't really matter what. Basically, it's just a lot better now. But the nice thing about it is they have a lot of integrated features within your Microsoft suite that you may be working with. So for example, this little tab up here has an immediate app launcher. So depending on your license, it'll show all the apps that you have access to. So regardless of your browser, we're just going to go with Microsoft365.com. I'd recommend saving it as a bookmark if I were you. Right away, you'll see some of the apps that you have access to depending on your license, some of which you should be very familiar with at this point. So Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, those are all pretty much staples in the Microsoft suite. Some of the newer ones you may or may not be familiar with is OneDrive, Teams, and Copilot. Copilot is Microsoft's AI. Microsoft Teams is a lot like Slack, or Zoom, or those type of platforms there. Just a lot more flexible, and there's a lot more you can do with it with the Microsoft suite of tools. OneDrive is, of course, its online cloud-based storage system. Super awesome platform. It's actually the backbone to a lot of the storage within the Microsoft 365 platform. So, hugely important program, which we'll get into in another video. But today, we're going to be going through SharePoint. So if we scroll on down, you'll see you can explore your apps by the category here, if you'd like. Of course, there's SharePoint right there. If you don't see what you're looking for, you don't feel like dealing with all that, you do have the option at the top here to see all apps that you currently have license for, right? It's all alphabetized, so it should be relatively simple to find what you're looking for. Of course, you can also search top here. So if I'm looking for a SharePoint, you can do that. So anyway, we'll scroll down to where SharePoint is. Click there. And here we are. Now, there will be some basic setup stuff in the very beginning of your Microsoft journey, which I would take care of for you. But we'll skip past all the admin stuff. It doesn't really matter to you guys right now. But let's just say you wanted to create something here off the bat, right? It should be pretty easy to tell that all you do is just click right here where it says go to pages, right? Great. Share and track your pages from one single place, right? So we'll hit go to pages. So the moment this page loads, you'll see some templates that you hear already. You can scroll on through here. If you see up top here, it says create a new site or start from scratch, basically. It's exactly what it sounds like. The starting from a blank or whatever, that is basically where it just gives you the environment to build a SharePoint site, right? So if you know exactly what you want to build, it's a great option. If you're not entirely sure how you want it to look or how you want it to function, there's a create new site option, which is a bit more of a hand-holding experience. So as you can see here, you have the team site and the communication site. The difference between the two really is team site is more focused on smaller groups of people where you collaborate on projects or initiatives and things like that. So that's the idea behind that. There's a bunch of nitty gritty little details on which is better. But on the flip side, the communication site is for like a larger audience. So let's just say you want to have a singular resource for your company. This is a great way to go about doing that. So right off the bat, you'll see a lot of templates here that you can make use of. I'm not going to go through each of them. Of course, you can pause the video as you'd like to see which one is which. But so you have things like just out of the box standard, things that are about events, things that are about employee onboarding, showcasing products or strategies, volunteer information. So in this case, we're just going to stick with the standard communication right out of the box, right? You can, of course, preview the site if you'd actually click around and see how it looks. But in this case, we're just going to hit the use template. And the site name has to be unique. So if you have a lot of different sites, you need to have a unique name for each one. So for example, if I'm like, I want it to be just called company, it's going to realize, hey, actually you have another one called company. So let's make a terrible change like company 2. So I would just recommend just kind of going with a different name. So we'll, in this case, just call it demo site. Okay. And this is available, right? So you can, of course, give a description if you'd like to about what this might be about. So there we go. We'll go to next. Of course, you can change your language if you'd like to. This will take a moment. Okay. And here we are. We are going to just start super basic from top to bottom. So at the top, it has the hero section, just some quick giant images that link to places, in news, posts that you can have here, and of course your events calendar. Right. So from very top to bottom, as you can see here, we'll just actually see, so from top to bottom, you'll take a look. You can kind of see there's already a color scheme chosen for you, which is the typical SharePoint green. You can hit settings. As an admin, you can make these changes here, right? So if I want to change the look of this thing, so you can change the look. There's been a new one added called site branding. We'll get to that here in a second. But change the look is where you would typically go to start. You can change the theme. If you don't like the green, you can change it to blue or orange or red. You can, of course, customize these two as well to choose your accent color, right? And so I'll go back. We're going to make it red. Going to make it red. Going to go back, and then we're going to add a logo. This right here, actually, so this, as you can see, it's just flopping around at the left there. This just changes the look of your header. If you like a big fat one, you can put that there. If you like more minimalist style, you can do that. We'll stick with a compact for now. And then, of course, you can change the color scheme for your header to be a bit more bold, but a little bit less so. And then site visibility, you have the option to hide or make that visible. The logos here, it does give you the option to change those depending on what you're looking at. So the site logo thumbnail, I believe, is on the preview page, whereas the site logo is what's being displayed right here currently. So we'll just save this. Okay. Now, as I said, there's a site branding section here. This is where you get to create kind of custom themes and font packages and stuff like that. So if we do a new theme, you can choose your primary color to be whatever you want. It could be just a horrific color scheme that really hurts your eyes. so you can put whatever you want in here. Text color, background color, you can change that too to be pretty awful. So we'll just leave it like that. It will actually warn you too, like if you're it'll check just accessibility. So for people who are like colorblind, stuff like that, or the contrast isn't good enough, it'll recommend some changes to that. So there is options to make some changes here to whatever you want it to be. So, and once you save that, whenever you go back into this site look and feel, we'll just correct that. Go back home. So it'll be listed as a theme option, basically. But anyway, you can play around with that if you'd like to. But typically out of the box, there's a pretty decent selection. That was a long-winded way of saying that you change colors, but here we are. Next, we're just going to go through this header here. So again, as an admin, you can make changes to this as much as you would like. Between like moving them up, move certain things up in the menu hierarchy here, right? You can nest stuff in here. So if you want this moved down, you can make a sublink, save that, so that it's housed within a drop down. We'll not do that here. So then this back so you can promote it. So you can enable and disable this audience targeting option. All this means is that within here, any items you have listed here, you can go in and choose who can and cannot see these type of things. So for example, if I don't want people to see the site contents option here, I can change the audience to target. So these groups here are actually managed within the SharePoint Admin Center and or the actual Microsoft 365 Admin Center where there's security groups, stuff like that. So super easy to do, but in this case, we'll just do one real quick. So you would type in the name of the group and you would click that. And now everybody within this security group will be able to see site contents and nobody else can. So super handy when you have specific tools that only certain people should see, and also within this menu here. Okay, so as I alluded to with the header items here, this whole site is only accessible if you give people access to it. So same as before, you would have specific groups that you would add to this. So in this case, we're doing an all company one. So this would be all, which is all company right here. And we will just say We don't need to send an email because this will just be by default, right? You can send an email notifying everybody who has access right there. So now everybody in the company has access to this site, which is the idea, right? So now we went through kind of the basics up here. We'll go to the documents section. So whenever you create the site, it builds its own repository, its own library, right? So if you're familiar with any kind of folder structure and document storage, this should look super familiar. It operates much the same as Dropbox, Google Drive, things like that. Any kind of document storage, it's all pretty much the same stuff, right? The unique thing about this, though, is that everything you build within here can be accessed within the other Microsoft 365 suites, right? Okay. So we're just going to create a couple folders. So now that we have all these fun little guys here, as you probably saw during the pop-ups there, you can change the colors here if that helps you access items faster. So they stick out a little faster, right? So as you add each of these folders and files and stuff like that to this document library, it's going to inherit whatever the top level permissions are. So in this case, everybody who has access to this site will be able to see these documents, right? And if you want that changed, you would just hit these little this little ellipsis right here. Scroll on down to the manage access section, and you can see who has access. So of course I owned it because I put it down there, but the groups here also all have access here too. So if I want to start sharing, I can make changes to be whoever I want it to be. Any of these items here, of course you can also add groups. So as before, if you have multiple groups that are managed, you can add those there. You can copy links to share with people. So that's an option there. All right, let's go into here. Let's add an image. Okay, and now this is going to be inheriting whatever sharing permissions I have that's attached to the folder it's being put into, right? Manage access. As you can see, it's inheriting whatever the top level folders permissions are, right? So if you see this here, stop sharing, you can choose that, stop sharing, and then over default back to whoever owns this document, and you would hit start sharing again. And choose specific people. If you want specific people, you can do that right there, right? So, and of course from there you can choose what they can do, right? The edit, view, or they can just view but not download. The view option lets them view and also download the document. If you took a look at the Dynamics 365 demo, you'll see that this is very similar. This is a view, right? So this is showing the title of the document, when it was modified, who it was modified by. You can also add custom columns if you'd like. You can also show or hide columns that are already part of this. So in this case, we will add who was this created by, its file size, and content type. Okay. So I just changed the view. It's now telling me it was modified by me. It's a document. It was created by me. And this is how big the file size is. And now that I've made tweaks to this, this will be here, inherit, which anywhere you go within the document library. So it follows you everywhere. And again, you set this view, what this looks like for your people who are using this platform. Now let's just say that I like chunky grid stuff. I like tiles, right? If I hit that button right there, you just saw, did a little drop down where it says all documents, go to tiles. You can change the view for those things. It was previously a list, but so you move into tiles, and then if you want to keep it this way for everybody, you would hit save view as. You can of course also make a new view. So in this case, I'm just going to save it, leave it as the same name. This will overwrite the default view for everybody. So when everybody loads the documents page, they're going to see big fat blocks, right? So I dig the list view. I like database styles. So we're going to change that. Just my bag, but it tweaks their own, of course. That's the document library. Pages are exactly what it sounds like. So much like a website that you have out publicly facing website, you can create specific pages for your SharePoint. So let's just say that I want to have each of these linked to a page that's dedicated to a specific thing. So I would basically just create a new page, right? You have the blank, it'll have some basic things in here that you can pick and choose from, video focused ones, messaging, visual stuff, and of course, basic text. So we'll go with basic text to start. Create page. Your company benefits. What all do I have access to? Question mark. Does PTO look like? You want money? Maybe. Yeah, so you can basically build out whatever you want to do. Of course, you can change the image here to be whatever you would like it to be. You can upload your own images. You can choose stock photos. You can do a web search within here. So we will do a stock photo of mountain. Actually, no, people.
Window search. Window search. Some stock photos. Sorry.
Okay, so we'll just put this one in here, insert. Since it's not a great place to focus that picture on, you can move it up. You can pick and choose what is the focus. Okay, so smiley faces, okay. And we would hit publish. Now, you can also add all kinds of items within here. In this case, we're gonna add a section. We want how many columns we want, what style we want. This is just basically, see this section right here? This is one that's set up to have 2 different columns, but these are the ones you have options to make the style be. So in this case, we're just gonna do we'll do one, yeah, there we go. And in this case, of course, if you don't like that, you're like, oops, you can change that by hitting this little edit properties option. And you can choose all kinds of neat little features here if you want to change backgrounds or color schemes or whatever you want to do, you can do that. Go and align everything to the center. And we're going to add some stuff in here now. So got a section here. So if you hover, you kind of see this little like chunk pop up where it says add new part in column 1. So we're going to do that. If you have frequently used ones, it'll be at the top there, but we'll just go top to bottom. We have text options in here, things like a banner, button, calling to action, image gallery, all these cool things in here. YouTube. They used to have Twitter in here, but we all know how that API access stuff went. If you're in the know, which basically is to say they took it away. So let's go here. We scroll on. We'll just put some quick links in here. Okay. We want them to be, you have options for the style on the right here. So we'll make them that. You have options to choose what exactly they look like. So we're going to say fill color. And we're going to say only one line to make them a little slimmer. Yeah, and then we'll do center alignment. You can, again, like before, you can do audience targeting. So if you only want, like, you know, your executive to see this block, you can do so. But we'll leave that as it is. Okay, so we know we have these links set up here. We will just simply click on these and you can do from a link. Okay, and then within there, you can change. So within there, you can make the changes to whatever you want it to be. Alpyne's website. Add links to, oops, actually. Okay. Then we'll do Alpyne 365's YouTube. Okay. And as I had skipped it before, but here you can put in a custom image for an icon if you like. You can choose from the library. So there's a whole lot of iconography that you have access to here. So just say YouTube, see if you get lucky. Video. We'll just do this right there. Okay. So you can add iconography for easier access within there, or easier recognition. All right, so then we will add another section here. So we'll put a video. You can add any video you would like. In this case, we're going to put this one. So if you have the link, you just pop over to YouTube, find the link, put that there, and then we'll have that there. Okay. So that's how we want this page to look, whatever it could be, could your benefits. This could be anything you want it to be. So we'll do another part here. Yeah, there's a lot of options. It's tricky to decide it's kind of tricky to describe exactly what SharePoint is, because honestly, this thing, it's kind of like handing somebody a pile of lumber, right? It's like, and then they ask like, well, what are you going to do with this? And you're like, well, what do you want to do with it? Because we can build anything with this thing. So SharePoint is just it's such a flexible tool. You can build all kinds of really cool stuff within here. But anyway, we're back to here. We just published this page here. You have the choice to put it into the menu if you'd like to. And as before, you can nest some of these things. So you don't want too chunky of a menu. You can make changes to that. So let's go back to the home. All right, so now we have that here. I actually want to make that a sublink of this pages option. So when I hover over pages, I can see company benefits. And the neat thing is that you can actually make multiple layers of this. So we'll make this one too, and make that a sublink. So let's say that we have, all the pages here, right, with the directory. You have your company benefits. This could be a link to, your medical, your vision, your dental, your retirement, all of that good stuff. Would be nested within there. So if I hit save, it would all be nested. So major category in bold and larger text, and then the subcategories for each could be in smaller text. So you can nest it as much as you would like. All right, so we scroll on down, we see the add the news. So you can add news posts in here. Again, this looks just like the pages. It should look very familiar. So you would create post from blank. And we said we hit a major milestone. All thanks to beep bop. Beep bop. Okay. We'll put flamingos, I don't know. You can put whatever you would like, of course, just like the page before. You can add all kinds of cool stuff within here. So we're going to post and send. So this would email people that are part of this SharePoint thing here, right? You have the options to email to people. So we will skip this because we're just going to. Now back on the home site, you'll see that this article has now been published for anybody to see. And people can either like it or comment on it if they'd like to. I like it. I love it. I'm going to save it for later. Okay. There. I did it there. I don't know why I do that, but I can. All right. Ready to go back home. Right. So there's a super handy little news feature. This is great for launching things like if you're doing some sort of product launch or some new partnership that you might be really, really excited about to communicate to your team. This is a great way of doing that. Events are exactly what it sounds like. So maybe we have a, pizza party. More scroll. Okay, so we're going to go into the second to celebrate the new year, right? You put your location, of course, if it's somewhere special, you want somebody to know. You do an all-day pizza party. Okay, so we're going to do, you can put a link in there for the address. Of course, you can name the title or whatever you want it to be. Any kind of categorical thing you want to do here. This is just a get together, right? So here there's an option for a bunch of description items in here, so you can put whatever you want. So yeah, you can describe whatever this is supposed to be within here. And of course you can put who's in charge or whatever. You can put that there. Okay. Then we up. You can of course edit this if things change. Like you said, pizza. Oh yeah. Let's add this.
Looks good. It's kind of cool.
Save. Okay. So back on this homepage, like I said, it'll show you the icon here for what's coming up. So the neat thing here is everything that I'm doing here, I can tap into from what's called Power Automate. So if I want to have automated flows go out, anytime I do something on here, I can do so. So speaking of automation, I guess we could touch on this really quick. In the documents section, you do have the option to set up some pretty limited automation options here, right? So you can do creating some rules here. So creating a rule here or managing ones that exist. So for example, if I want, anytime somebody edits a file, you can let somebody know. So if I want anybody who's modifying, if the date changes or whatever, I can say to anything, and I can choose who gets an email about this. Like if it's a spreadsheet that's been updated and I want to be notified anytime it is, this is the way to go about doing that. Some additional automation things here. So yeah, file is modified, new file is added, file is deleted, right? So some basic ones in there, but we'll skip on past that. And that's, you can do that for anything here. But yeah, there's some other options in here for automation, but there is some very basic stuff out of the box. Now, a little cool thing about the documents sitting here is you can add a shortcut to OneDrive. So if I want to do that, I can add this. Okay. Now, if I go to my files, you'll see a quick and easy shortcut that goes right on back to SharePoint. And this is the file structure that's here. So if I have access, I will see these things. So if you want to live within OneDrive and you want a quick link to it, that's how you go about adding it. Okay, so let's go back to SharePoint. Site contents, we'll just touch on that really quick. Site contents, it's not typically in this like that. We'll just put this up. Put this, promote. Okay. So it's typically right here, right? So site contents is really just a breakdown of the entire site's contents. And so it's all right here, all the documents, any kind of forms you have housed within here, any like images or whatever, that's part of the assets section here. Style library, your events, and any page that you have built, right? So yeah, an added benefit to using SharePoint, of course, other than what we've gone over already, is this is a unified platform for everybody. So like if you have repeat questions or whatever, they already know, hey, the first place we look is SharePoint, and you ask them, is it there? Great, take a look. So another thing that's super handy about this platform is, the whole purpose of it is to be able to collaborate, sync, and share items, right? It also allows you, as you saw, create pages. So if you want to create like internal kind of websites, which is sort of what this is, you can do so. A lot of really great resources you can build for your team. So it makes onboarding employees a lot less, unwieldy and easier to manage, as well as, of course, maintaining your employees as well. There's that option. Of course, there's the unified content management. So instead of having old documents floating out in the wild, the up-to-date copies are always housed within SharePoint. So that's where they always go for that type of thing. And the added benefit of this stuff is that you're backed by all of Microsoft's amazing, security features, right? So two-factor, multi-factor app, of course, authentication, stuff like that. So it's always good to have a little bit of peace of mind, right? And to kind of like just sum up this whole thing is that this is actually my 4th time recording this video. There's just so much that you can do with SharePoint. It's an immensely powerful platform where you can build all kinds of amazing tools that your organization really may need. But you haven't really been able to find like a single piece of software or tool that actually would satisfy the need that you have. So SharePoint's a great place to start. It's a very flexible platform. You can do a lot of amazing things with automation within this platform. I didn't really get into it too much, but you can embed this within Teams. You can set up automations, all kinds of cool stuff. So this was a general overview. This is a much more valuable one whenever you get more specific, like what your business is trying to accomplish. Maybe there's some tools you want to build or whatever. This allows you to kind of get a frame of reference, like where to start, and go from there. Yeah, it's it's a very flexible platform that I definitely recommend wholeheartedly to basically any organization, because there's a lot of amazing things you can build for your team in a lot of specific and unique ways. So SharePoint should serve a purpose, right? It should reduce frustrations and headaches. It should make your leaders better. It should make your team more productive and ultimately have a much more streamlined process and organization as a whole. Because you can build all kinds of amazing things on here. You can have a human resources platform. You can have an events coordination platform. You can have a project management team. You can have, it's hard not to go bananas with all the details, all the what if scenarios, but you can do a lot of amazing things with this platform. So I hope this was helpful. And until next time, keep sharing.